I didn't know. I didn't know until you mentioned, and you only mentioned it to me a few months ago, because you were talking about something else, and you were going back in time. How are you? When did you get back home? Are you still having any symptoms or side of or? Yeah, but I didn't know you had flare ups. You know, very very regular. That actually makes sense. Same part, because you want it to be happening while they're there, so they can make a determination of something.
Grease and your arteries being clogged up, just like that can kill you. Stress can kill you too. That's a silent killer.
A lot of people I know that. Because that happens all the time, often. And I know it's difficult now for you to find a way to get away as easily as you used to. We've low key talked about it, and I've told you on a number of occasions I was proud of you for making sure you got that time in. But it's all you have to do is find a variety of ways to do the same thing. You just might not be able to always do it, outside the house. Like you have to, set some boundaries. Get your she cave on. You gotta force it. Well, I want you to find creative ways to get that time in that has been so helpful to you, whether you realize it has or not. I know. Even if you get some girlfriends on a Zoom, people are having girls' nights out, and even better for girls' nights out now, nobody have to go tear up nobody else's house. Everybody can do it right online. Everybody can refill their drink at they own will. Come back to the monitor. Bring your bottle. Right. Bring your bottle to the monitor.
Right, exactly.
Why you didn't call me from the hospital if you was there by yourself going through that?
It was in the middle of the night.
You was going through something like that in the middle of the night. That's worth a phone call.
Yeah.
That's worth a phone call. I know it shook you.
Yeah, it was scary.
I know it shook you because it's something that has happened periodically over your lifetime, but it's happened in a different enough way for you to go to ER. You can't say it didn't shook you, not and I believe it. So You need to call. If you feel insecure about calling your friends that late, call your sister. I mean, it's not like you were in the ER, girl.
Yeah.
The ER. I'm not gonna want to hear explanation of this if something go awry in this era, even if happens in the hospital.
Right.
And he don't need that kind of stress if he got to deal with that and then deal with your family and that would just be really, it ain't nobody's fault. It would just be me kind of, I guess, lashing out because I didn't know, So I do appreciate you making sure you double down and make sure I knew that it wasn't something that you just discussed in passing. Oh, I got a hole in my heart that I've been living with, that it periodically flares up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
We need to be cognizant of that, and we all need to be cognizant of keeping you healthy. That's the motivation for and we know we are officially middle aged now.
Yeah.
If we go down, we don't have nothing but each other. If you're not gonna be on the phone updating the whole time you're there, then pick up the phone and call me. And if you need to leave a message, do that, because I will get up and hear the message and call you right back. But do what you need to do to not endure something like that alone. You've endured stuff like that alone a couple of times in your life where you didn't need to. Don't break that cycle.
Yeah.
Because you need the relief of that stress from you. Even if I'm completely helpless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm here. And you need to not... if you can't have a bestie sitting across from you, which you probably still couldn't even if you had one living in your house with you, because they're funky with the hospitals now and the visitation system. But I'm just saying, pick up the phone and call your sister. I know even if I was asleep, probably was. You know what I mean? I'll wake up and see what the message was, and your phone call will be returned.
Yeah, it was so funny because I have a girlfriend. She's one of the lead nurses at that hospital.
And I know you can handle stuff. But that's the point, doing it every time you can just because you can, when you might have had the opportunity to relieve a little bit of anxiety, take it. Just like I was trying to fight on the car this whole time but he, who knew a pandemic was coming, and he had consciously saved for it. It was in the budget. He said, and money's tight with everybody right now, but it's something that he had saved for. And, I thought about it. We're 50. What am I waiting on? 80? So I can flex at 80? What are we, now we looking at stuff and we're like, well, okay, well, what are we waiting on now? Because we halfway over the hump at this point. So, yeah. Yeah, relieve yourself of all the stress. that you possibly can. I even sometimes I'm so professional at it at this point that it sometimes causes some tension because I may say something and either maybe or disagree on it or something. And I'm just like, okay, and then he feels some kind of way. I'm like, I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. You know what I mean? I think what I think, and I'm not trying to convince you I believe it, and I'm not trying to convince you to believe what I believe. I'm just telling you what it is. And I could be wrong. This is what it is at this state. You know what I mean? I ain't going to bed crying and upset over about, it's not something like that. We too old. I mean, not that I ever, and I ain't never had to in our relationship. 50 ain't the age to start. 2 decades in ain't the time to start. So I just think that people, and it ain't just him, I think that like I said, in our society, you get so accustomed to people just wanting to be right all the time, that when you get somebody that can either say, oh, you know what, I was wrong about that. People be like, well, you don't have to be smart. They think you're being condescending because you said, you're right. Because they can't even accept that somebody can acknowledge that they wrong. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not finna get upset about it. Yeah, but you was going so hard about it. Yeah, but we both found out I was wrong. You showed us, remember? And I said I was wrong. What I'm gonna do? Go back in history and change it?
Right.
I only argued about it for like literally 2 minutes, and then I was like, you know what? You're right. And now you mad at me for boy? I'm too old. We got other stuff. We got other stuff to get upset about, child.
Right.
I'm too old. Just like little kids, you try to tell them to do something, make a better decision for them. They tell you sit your old self down somewhere, okay? And then when they bump their head, I'm insensitive now because I was like, well. Well, but I want you to have a prosperous and healthy, stress-free life.
Yep, me too, girl.
I claim it for you.
That's it. I don't even have words to describe. Sounds crazy, right?
No, it don't sound crazy. Remotely crazy. To this, I mean, like right now, we can't afford the actual international travel. We pull up a HD for 4K, maybe if we can find it, and we go look. We pull up these YouTube travel channels, and they literally just walk through the different tourist areas and or even not the tourist areas if you want to walk through the residential areas, and we literally travel like that. The other night we went to Istanbul, we went to Rio de Janeiro, we went to Italy, we went to Paris, we went to Venice, and then we went to a couple. Yeah, we went to, and it's just you just pull it up, and it's it's like 3D. You know what I mean? Because you got to get the one with the best footage so you can imagine being there. And I could imagine being there, and there were a couple of places that I was like, man, I looked at him. I said, you know what? I would be so mad if we would have spent thousands of dollars to come to this joint. I was like, I would have been so mad. We would have came down here for this. Yeah, and then you can click, you click off of it and you go to a whole nother country, instantly. So we can go to the beach. We've been to the beach a few times, And so, we might say something. We might just be joking. I'll be like, it's too many kids here. It's too many kids. Like a beach full of kids. This must be kids' day. I love the beach full of kids, but it looked like it wasn't no adults. It was so many kids. So.
Especially, sometimes when I travel, sometimes I don't want to, I don't want to be around. I got kids, but sometimes I don't want to be around kids.
Right. I don't, people.
Like, this not the kind of trip.
Again, people get so conditioned, like they're not allowed to say that. That don't mean you don't love your kids. Like, why people are just think everything is a one-sum end game. Nobody got no balance, with their thoughts.
You gotta have mindset.
Yeah. Like, I might do it on my own if I just need a minute, I might go to the beach right quick. Make sure the LED is popping. And find the highest quality beach video I can. And they literally have troops of people walking around with high-def cameras just for people that want to look at videos of it. Sometimes they even have little subtitles to tell you what different buildings are and stuff, whatever. We was in one place in Italy. I was like, man, this is so nice. I was like, because I can see right now my legs will be hurting going down. Because the incline on that hill was the most. I was like, that would ruin my, at this age, that would ruin my whole vacation. I'm hiking. I ain't go to hiking. I'm glad he got to go by his mom's house. I'm glad because I don't have dinner ready.
Yeah, well, I just wanted you to know what went down last night.
Yeah, I do need to know that. I actually needed to know last night. But I guess in retrospect, I'm thankful because...
But I'm gonna let you have it.
Yeah, I was gonna say in retrospect, I'm thankful because I probably would have been worried from the time you was in there to probably even till now. So that kind of relieved me of stress I might have along the way. But you're my sister, and it's worth it. And I don't want. It breaks me down every time I think about, you know, a couple of instances in your life where you endured stuff alone that didn't have to, but you didn't know you didn't have to, right. And so. Oh yeah. So yeah.
Those are sensitive areas.
And I don't. And I would. Yeah, and I would just never forgive myself if something happened to you, and I don't know, in some capacity, I would just, yeah.
You weren't given opportunity to be there.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Even if I failed it, which God forbid that ever happened, but I would bust out of my introvertism for people I love. So that ain't even a thing. It's not even a concern. Mm-hmm. I'll drop that in a flash.
Right, gotcha.
But are you still taking a baby aspirin every day from your leg? Do it a couple of times a week, maybe. Still.
Yeah.
For the record, mine came from an injury, a torn ligaments in my knee.
Maybe so, but I know Mama gets.
Well, we talk about them. In fact, I also encourage her to during that span of time between, but by the time she got to the doctor when she was waiting to see him, I also encouraging her to take aspirin every day. Until she got to see them and got whatever they were going to put, whatever blood thinners they was going to put her on, because I know that's what they was going to put her on. Yeah, that, you know, this is America. At a certain age, everybody got their stash.
Right.
Ain't nobody free from it. And I feel very blessed about that. I thank God every day about that, because especially in the way the world is right now, because I worry about people that got major prescriptions when, you know, stuff shuts down and things get difficult to get. You know what I mean? At first I was thinking about people on dialysis. I mean, like, what do they do? And then that made me go a little bit lighter to a little lower level. And I was like, well, if you think about it, people that got prescriptions, you know, that they feel like it's keeping them alive or whatever. You know, it's different layers. But the older you get, people say it, and we all know it to be true even when we're young. But as you experience it, it's even more solid that health is the commodity. Health. And like you said, actually, I can't say I learned from you, but it felt like I did, because I really heard it when you said it, memories, making memories. So that's very valuable right now. So yeah, girl, turn on your high def and go on a trip. You can go to Vegas. You can go pre-COVID, like they act like it don't exist, or you can go right now to see how they handling it. See how many people got masks on. Because we have been to Vegas a bunch of times virtually. We wanted to see how they were handling the situation. So we went during COVID. And I liked it personally, because it felt like, because it was so few people out there, which you'll never see again probably in Vegas. But I was like, yeah, this is my kind of crowd out here. But yeah, I heard it was hard to find, a friend of mine was saying she went somewhere. It was hard to find a hotel because they were, using them either for medical staff or sometimes people as COVID floors sometimes. And so it was, the hotels aren't always operating as they normally would, because they're doing a bunch of different stuff.
Because I remember.
Well, I'm glad you're doing better. I hope you don't.
Yeah, I got some good drugs too.
Oh my God, you sound like she stay on a. She the pharmacist. I swear, she got something for everything. What they give you?
Oh yes, I got some good stuff now. And then I got this other one. Oh, muscle relaxers. Yes, child. I'm gonna be floating. I'm floating on sunshine.
So you taking 3 things for how long? And he really only does CBD anyway, but that's the reason why he prefers smoking than edibles or ingestibles, because they take a little longer to kick in, and then when they do, they could last for hours. And he's that kind of control freak where it's not that he don't enjoy the high, but
wait, go back. Because I don't think I'm trying to think, have I had an edible before? I don't think I've had any kind of weed that lasted for hours before.
Oh yeah, they own some. Yeah, it's a whole new world. I can't talk, because I always been real picky about the people around me, even when I was young. And the fact of the matter is that young people are not. That's just, typical young people are not, and that's okay. I was about to say, I'm glad you survived college. And I don't have no doubt. I have all the faith in the world that you would. It just don't make me feel less, some kind of way toward people that, like normal as human. Right. I mean, that's why I backtracked, because I was like, that could happen to anybody, especially at that age, especially that young. But you were supposed to have every last one of those experiences. You were supposed to.
I don't have any regrets.
I'm glad you made. Niggas, we made it.
Girl, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh.
Well, every era got their thing, because our parents didn't have pagers or cell phones, so every era got their amazing next level. Yeah, I have similar experiences, but I'm just taking my time and taking a step back because it's so very different, because you're more of a people person. So it was definitely, we get conditioned to deny so many of our valid feelings. It's crazy, really. And we just shove it. And then at the end, you're like, why? Like, why would you be embarrassed to care about something?
Right.
But it's just really the conditioning of our values have become so warped over generations.
But we try to act hard, hard.
Well, I think it all plays into a warped system of warped values. So, because there was an era where humanity was proud of their compassion. Now it's perceived as weakness on some level. Being firm is taken personally when you're just setting boundaries. You know what I mean? Holding people accountable is being insensitive. So we've just bastardized all the valid feelings of humanity, the good ones, the humane ones.